All right, this should be a pretty short lesson. Now I just want to discuss how to find the area of a triangle using the determinant. And as you can already see it written here, effectively what we're going to do is we're going to find the determinant of a matrix that is comprised of the coordinates or the vertices of your triangle being in the first two columns, and then you're just going to have ones down the third column, if you will. And you're going to find the determinant of that matrix, and effectively after that, you're just going to divide by 2 or multiply by 1/2. And I'll discuss that plus or minus in just a moment. So let's just try a problem now with this. So we've got 3 vertices here that form a triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and start setting this up. I'm going to say, all right, the area of my triangle is equal to plus or minus 1/2 times, and let's create this matrix. We're going to take this coordinate here, 0, 0. Those are going to go in my first two columns. And then, well, let's go ahead and just write the coordinates first. So 4, 1, 2, 5. And down the third column, we're just going to go ahead and write ones. Okay? And we're going to find the determinant of this matrix. Again, what's really nice about this particular matrix here, as it turns out, we've got a row with just 0 or zeros in the first two entries, which make pretty easy to find a determinant here. So we're going to say our area is equal to plus or minus 1/2. And let's find the determinant now. So if I ignore the first two entries in my first row, because everything multiplied by 0 is just 0, I can just say that, all right, well, 20, oops, I realize I have a comma in the middle of that. So 20 minus 2, well, that's just 18. So 1 times 18, well, that's plus or minus 1/2 times 18, which is plus or minus 9. Now let's talk about this plus or minus 9. Why do I have that here? Well, this plus or minus is really just like an insurance policy, just to protect us from having a possible negative area, which isn't possible. So what we just want to look to see is if our determinant is positive, then we can just divide everything by 2. We don't have to worry about that. But if our determinant ends up being a negative number, then you just want to make sure that you multiply it by negative 1/2 so that your area is positive. Since our determinant was positive, I don't have to worry about that at all. I could have just multiplied everything by 1/2, and I would be able to express my answer as 9 units squared. And always a good idea to write the units for an area, okay? Now, what if you're doing this process and your determinant turns out to be 0? Well, think about that for a second. Think about a triangle with a 0 area. And what that effectively means, right, is that you've got a point that's collapsed onto the line joining the other points. And so now you've got all 3 points here on the same line. In math, we say that these 3 points are then collinear. So really quick and easy, if you find out that your determinant while trying to find the area of a triangle is 0, then that tells you that those 3 points are actually all on the same line, hence the 0 area. So a really quick example of this would be if I wrote 3, negative 1, 1, 0, negative 3, 1, 9, 3, 1. And again, I'm going to just go ahead and select this row here and I'll find the determinant of that. So let me just write the plus or minus 1/2 because let's just pretend we were trying to find the area and we didn't really know what was going to happen just yet. But well, from here I would have plus or minus 1/2. And finding the determinant of this row, well, that first term is 0, so I can ignore that. I've got positive negative 3. Well, that would give me 3 times negative 6, right? So let's see here. That would be 3 times negative 6 plus, and let's see, for the last one, we have 9 times 2. Well, that would just give me, what do we have here? That gives me 0. Therefore, we can say that these points are collinear. Okay? All right. So let's see. Let's finish these off with the rest of them. The last problem that we have is pretty similar to the types of problems that we did with finding the equation of a parabola that goes through points. And I'm not going to do this entire problem right now, but I at least want to show you kind of how you would start setting this up. Effectively, if you're trying to find the equation of a circle of this line, okay, or excuse me, the equation of a circle given the general form equation of a circle, you know that your circle passes through these 3 points. They pass through these 3 points, and you want to find the equation of that circle. And I know we haven't discussed conics just yet, but we can do this just simply by setting up a system of equations. So if your first coordinate is -6, -1, we can write our equation as the following. We're going to plug in our x, so that would be -6 squared. Plug in our y, -1 squared. And again, plug in the x's where they are and the y's where they fit. And let's clean up this equation a little bit. We've got 36 plus 1, which is 37, minus 6d, minus e, plus f. And I'm going to move that constant 37 over to the other side. So I'm just going to write that over here. Okay. And now we're going to just rinse and repeat this with the other points. And again, just to set this up for you, so -4, 3 would give me the following. -4 squared plus 3 squared plus -4d plus 3e plus f is equal to 0, which would then clean up nicely to the following. Let's see, 16 plus 9, so I'm going to write -25 over here. And then finally, let's just do this last one in red. We got 2, -5, and write this as, let's see, 2 squared plus -5 squared plus 2d minus 5e plus f is equal to 0. So then I can write this as 2d minus 5e plus f is equal to, let's see, 4 plus 25, that's -29 here. And what we're going to now do is we're going to take these 3 equations, and now you've got a system of equations that we can set up. We can write this as, and let me just in black here, we can write this as, or actually, you know what? Let me just write it as a matrix, might as well. So we've got -6, -1, 1, -37, -4, 3, 1, -25, 2, -5, 1, 29. And I would encourage you now try, solve this however you want. Maybe you want to try Cramer's rule, or maybe you want to practice using an inverse square matrix, whatever you'd like to do. But once you find your values, which your order triple that comes out of this should be 2, 2, -23, what that means you're going to want to then plug in those values back into your original equation. And I'm referring to this up here. Okay, you basically now have your D, your E, and your F. So your final equation, I'm going to just have to write it over here on the left side. I don't like doing that, but I'm just going to do that here. Plus y squared plus, we got 2x plus 2y minus 23 is equal to 0. And this is what you would box as your final answer. Okay? And we won't discuss cryptography, but that is something that you could look up on your own, which effectively involves using matrices to encode or decode messages.